Manchester United just drew with Southampton 0-0. Okay, the bottom of the league, and they had to play a man down for most of the game because of the loss of Casemiro getting a red card. Okay, now let's look at this thing from from a couple of perspectives. Okay, number one, Manchester United did not, did could have should have beaten Southampton with 10 men or not. Shouldn't have mattered whether they had 9, 10, or whatever. But they were actually outpossessed by Southampton, which is the bottom of the league. Okay, the final statistics on this are Southampton had 53% of the ball to Manchester United's 47%. Okay, and a lot of that probably had to do with the red card at Casemiro. Okay, they actually were outshot too, even though the shots on target were even 4-4. Southampton had 17 shots versus Manchester United's 10 shots. And it looked to me like Southampton actually had the better opportunities to score. Manchester United had a few, but the thing about this game, as I'm looking at it, is the big talking points. Okay, the first one was Casemiro. Was it a red card? In my opinion, yes, it was. I don't care what Mark Goldbridge says that it never was a red. I don't care if you get the ball first. If you go in studs up into a player, it's going to be called a red card. It is going to rightfully be called a red card. It is definitely a red card. I have no problem. Look, to be fair, if they would have kept it at a yellow, I probably wouldn't have had much of a problem with it either because, again, that's just how you look at it. But in my opinion, when you go in studs up, even if you get the ball first and you go into the player's leg, it's, I can see why the red card was called. So I probably should rephrase that. I'm not going to sit there and say it was a red card all day, but I can understand why he changed it to a red. I thought that was good. Casemiro should not have gone in studs up like that. Okay, I don't understand why players don't make an effort to not go in studs up. But then again, I played the game a long time ago. I never got sent off ever. I didn't play at that level either. So I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. But just use your head. You don't need to go in studs up like that on a tackle. And now he's going to miss 4 games. My heart goes out to Casemiro for that, but because I don't think he's a dirty player. And I was looking at some of what they were saying in Manchester United land, biased against Brazilians, blah blah blah. No, but the biggest talking point was Bella Kotchap getting. They didn't call a penalty late in the first half. Now keep in mind the law in foot. It's amazing. I'm listening to people talk about it's a stone. Why didn't it go to VAR? Why isn't that a penalty? Why did not Manchester? First of all, Manchester United does not need a penalty. Should not need a penalty to beat Southampton at home. Okay, and and again, like I said earlier, they should be able to do it with 10 men. Okay, but here's what the law says. There will be no penalty if a player is falling and the ball touches their hand or arm when it is between their body and the ground, but not extended to make the body bigger. In other words, if I fall down like Bella Ketchup did, okay, and I use my hand to brace the fall, and I don't extend it, but the ball still hits my arm, okay, it is not. Now, he pulled his arm away because he probably felt it touch it and wanted to get it away from there. So, in my opinion, and this actually happened last year to Manchester United against Arsenal. I forget the defender's name, but he fell over and something similar happened. It is not a penalty. It is not a handball, okay, if something like that happens. Now, so in my opinion, there was no penalty. Now, I've heard flying pig, and I've heard, I haven't heard anybody else we're talking about. I haven't really gone and done a deep dive on this, but flying pig, and he's angry he didn't go check VAR. Like I said, the referee knows the law, okay? And in my opinion, this was not a handball in the box. This was not a penalty based on what the law says, okay? He was not trying to make himself bigger. The ball hit his hand, but it hit his arm, okay? and he used his arm to brace himself. He didn't use it to make it bigger. He just pulled it away, okay? So, in my opinion, the referee made the correct decision in not giving it. Now, I'm sure there are Manchester United fans who would disagree with me on this, and that's fine, okay? But the reality of it is, I think of those 2 points in the Manchester United Southampton game, I thought that they got the calls correct. Casemiro, in my opinion, should have been sent off. I would have understood if they didn't, but his red card should have stood. Okay, and it did. He's going to miss 4 games, and it was no penalty. And Rashford puts the ball, it hits the arm, yes, but the player was on the ground. He'd fallen down, used his arm to brace himself, and based on the law, and I'll read it to you again, a player is falling and the ball touches their hand or arm where it is between the body and the ground. Okay, if the ball, it says it right there in black and white. All you need to do is look it up. Okay. But not extended to make the body bigger, okay? In other words, if I fall down and I use my hand to brace the fall, it's not a handball. However, if I use the fall and all of a sudden I see the ball going to my right and I move my arm out, then it is, okay? But that's not what happened here. I think it's a 50. You can make an argument both ways, but in my opinion, I think the referee got it right. Now you may disagree, but here's the bottom line as I see it, okay? Manchester United should not have needed a penalty kick to beat Southampton. Okay? Fernandes hit the inside of the post in the second half, but realistically, Manchester United should have beaten Southampton, and they should have beaten Southampton very, very handily. Okay? They are a better team than Southampton. Okay? Look, Southampton is at the bottom of the league. Okay, they are not a good club. They are probably going down, unless they can. But they do have a chance to pull a great escape. They can, but unlikely. And we'll see what happens at the end. But Manchester United, very, very disappointing today from their standpoint. Exactly the opposite of what Arsenal is. Arsenal, on the other hand, looked like world beaters. Okay. Arsenal played probably in that first half was probably one of the best first halves I've ever seen an Arsenal team play. They absolutely dominated Fulham from beginning to end. Fulham hit the post, the crossbar in the second half, and got better in the second half. But really, Arsenal was by leaps and bounds much better than Fulham today. They even had it could have been even worse. I mean, they had a goal ruled out for offside correctly. But, Arsenal looks like they're going to be the champion, but we will see. And they also got Gabriel Jesus back. So, I mean, but when I look at the Manchester United Southampton game, I was really disappointed with Manchester United, the way they played. I thought they would be a lot better than what they showed. I thought they would have created more chances. I thought they would have scored some goals. And, but look, their run may be over, okay? Their run may be over, and they may be becoming a tired team. We'll find out as it goes on. But 0-0 against Southampton is very, very disappointing for a Manchester United team. That really did. Look, last week I called it a blip. I said, get your chin up. It was a very, very, very poor performance. I've listened to some of the Manchester United talk about last week's Liverpool game, and they were saying we were dominant in the first half. We were better in the first half. We had better chance. Come on, okay. Liverpool had many chances in the first half as you had in the first half. Okay, maybe one of them was better for Manchester United. I think who it was who put the ball just past the post. I don't know if that was Fernandes or Rashford. I forget who it was. Maybe it wasn't either one of them. But look, Liverpool was just so much better than you guys were last week. It wasn't even funny. And in the first half, it wasn't even. And in the second half, you guys just quit. That's what happened. Okay, you guys got better against Betis, beat them 4-1. Good on you. Move on to the Europa League after this coming week's game on Thursday. But today, very disappointing for Manchester United. You can't beat the bottom of the league, Southampton, and you're whining about a red card, which I think was a good call. and you're whining about a penalty kick, which was never a penalty, in my opinion. I thought the referee got it right. But again, that's my opinion. I'm not a Manchester United fan. If you disagree, put the comments below. I take the good as well as the bad. Have a good rest of your day, and that's my 2 cents. Thank you.